Cape Meares is a small headland on the Pacific coast in Tillamook County, Oregon, United States. The cape forms a high steep bluff on the south end of Tillamook Bay, approximately 5 miles, 8 kilometers, northwest of the city of Tillamook. Much of the cape is part of the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department-administered Cape Meares State Scenic Viewpoint with 3 miles of hiking trails, which includes Cape Meares Light and the Octopus Tree. The cape is named after John Meares, a British explorer. Immediately north of the cape is the community of Cape Meares, next to Cape Meares Lake. Cape Meares Beach extends north of the community of Cape Meares, along a sand spit, or peninsula, that encloses Tillamook Bay. The peninsula is alternatively known as Bay Ocean, after a popular upscale resort town that occupied the beach in the early 20th century, until beach erosion began to destroy the town beginning in the 1930s. Today, no significant remnant of the resort town remains on the beach. Bay Ocean was a community in Tillamook County, Oregon, United States. Sometimes known as the town that fell into the sea, it was a planned resort community founded in 1906 on Tillamook Spit, a small stretch of land that forms one wall of Tillamook Bay. Bay Ocean's post office was established on February 4, 1909, and by 1914, the town's population was 2,000. Only a few decades later, however, Bay Ocean had become a ghost town, having had many of its attractions destroyed by man-induced coastal erosion. The town's unforeseen destruction is believed by many to have been caused by the residents themselves. The location of Bay Ocean was said to have been discovered by co-founder Thomas Irving Potter while sightseeing and hunting along the Oregon coast. It was called by both T.I. Potter and his father/business partner Thomas Benton Potter, who envisioned the venture as the Atlantic City of the West. Believing the site to have an exceptional view of both Tillamook Bay and the Pacific Ocean, the new town's name was logically derived from both. Bay Ocean had many features uncommon for a small town of its time, including a dance hall, a hotel with orchestra, a 1,000-seat movie theater, a shooting range, a bowling alley, tennis courts, a rail system and 4 miles of paved streets. One notable attraction was a heated natatorium, complete with a wave generator and a special section for a band to play music to entertain the swimmers. While Bay Ocean's economy was based on tourism, there were other businesses in town, including a cannery, a tin shop, a machine shop, and a Texaco gas station. In a time when many other towns did not have technological infrastructure like electricity or paved roads, Bay Ocean hosted a water system, a telephone system and a diesel-driven power plant. Despite having paved roads, Bay Ocean was not connected to the rest of the country until the 1920s. Most residents and tourists arrived to the town via T.B. Potter's steamship, the SS Bayocene, in a 3-day trip from Portland. The final leg of the journey, entering into the unprotected mouth of Tillamook Bay, could provide a rough and frightening experience to passengers. Eventually Bay Ocean's residents asked the Army Corps of Engineers for a protective jetty to reduce the waves. The Army Corps of Engineers studied the location and suggested that 2 jetties be built, one on each side of the bay's mouth, at an estimated cost of $2.2 million. Half of that amount was required to come from local residents. With the multi-million-dollar price considered unaffordable, Bay Ocean's residents proposed and eventually had a single jetty constructed. The price was a little over $800,000 with Bay Ocean's citizens paying half. Although the new single jetty made for a much smoother journey into the bay, the one-sided change to the coastline began a process of erosion to Bay Ocean's beaches, slowly narrowing them before overtaking them completely. In 1932, waves from a massive storm finally crossed the beach and destroyed the huge natatorium. The spit itself was further damaged by winter storms in 1939, 1942, 1948, and by 1952 what was left of Bay Ocean had become an island. Bay Ocean's post office closed in 1953. What little remained of the town was demolished during the reclamation and dike building project of 1956. In 1960, Bay Ocean's last house was washed away, and in 1971, the last remaining building, a garage, finally fell into the ocean. With the addition of a second jetty built in the 1970s, sand began to reaccumulate on the spit. The site is now the location of Bay Ocean Peninsula County Park and virtually all traces of the town are gone. All that remains of Bay Ocean is a commemorative sign at the south end of the park. A sandy 7.8-mile hiking loop around the perimeter of the peninsula upon which Bay Ocean was located is maintained today. This trail begins and ends at the parking lot of Bay Ocean Peninsula Park. From March through September, hikers must walk on wet sand on the beach due to restrictions protecting the nesting habitat of snowy plover in the dry sand and dunes. Immediately south of Cape Meares is Short Beach. Short Beach is a 1,000-meter stretch of beach on the northern Oregon coast. Locals guess that both the beach and the creek that runs onto it, Short Creek, several miles in length, were named after an early resident of the area. Just south of Cape Meares State Park, and a bit north of Oceanside, the beach is hidden from the land except for a brief stretch of road which crosses the dam across Short Creek. Other attractions are the mussels, which can be gathered from offshore rocks at low tides, surf fishing, and beach fires. An occasional surfer may be seen, as well as paragliders who, now that there is safe access, sometimes land on the beach. Offshore, and partly onshore, are a number of rocks belonging to the Oregon Islands National Wildlife Refuge. In recent years, both these and the higher land around Short Beach have suffered significant erosion, collapse of rock faces and shoreward erosion along the bluff of over 5 feet in the last decade. The sand level has been dropping steadily ever since the first dams went up on the Columbia River and other area rivers, and continues to drop, leading to a local joke that "short beach" means it is getting very short on beach.